If you're looking for pressure in college football 26, I've got a very simple setup. And the best part, you could just choose a stock play and let your pass rush get after it. All you have to do is stand in the right spot. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell, grab out your pen and pad, and let's get after it. Now, the formation we're going to be talking about today is known as load mug. There is a 2-4 variety of this, and there is a regular load mug, which is basically all four linemen have their hands in the dirt. The benefit of the 2-4 is that there's some extra tricks that we've talked about in other videos here on the channel, so make sure you guys are subscribed, as I said already. We're going to be taking a look at running this with our load to the weak side of the offensive formation. So what you guys are going to want to do for this is you're going to turn your auto flip off and pay attention closely to how your opponent runs their offense. Let's say, for instance, our opponents are in a formation such as the bunch strong offset. This is a set where you have not one, not two, but 3 players compressed near that tight end position with a running back in the backfield on that side. So it wouldn't make a ton of sense for us to try to send the pressure off of the bunch side. So we want to pay attention to how our opponents play. Every game will be a little bit different for you, so just pay attention to tendencies. Most players tend to go with their passing strength to the side with more receivers to the wide side of the field because there's more space to flood. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to break down how simple this can truly be with just a simple crash of your defensive line and a hover. You could choose any play you want. I'll start off with 2-man under here in this example because it's safe. It allows us just to have every single player manned up, got safety help over the top, and we're going to be hopefully getting pressure with just a 4-man rush. So all we're going to do is crash our defensive line towards our load side. So this is called load mug because we have both of our defensive tackles to the same side of the center, overloading the gaps on that side with an overhang rusher coming off the edge. Because we are crashing them away from the center, this is going to make this very, very difficult for the offensive line to handle a base rush. Furthermore, what we're also going to do is we are going to come and stand down over the guard area. If you were to practice with 2 controllers, all you have to do is just hold left bumper on your offensive controller, and you can see how the offensive line targets you. What you want is the guard to be looking at you, so the flame logo appears over that edge rusher, meaning that he's unaccounted for. Now, when the ball's snapped, what I like to do is kind of run at the center. This is going to free up that edge rusher because the center is all of a sudden in like a alert that there's a guy flashing into the A gap. So let's go ahead here and kind of go top down, zoom out so we can see what I'm talking about. We're going to focus on the left side of the line, the center, the left guard, and the left tackle. You see that the crash to the left in tandem with me running at the center creates a 3-on-2 overload, and they cannot handle this from a protection standpoint. Now, there will be adjustments that you can make to this, and we'll talk about those momentarily, but I want to show you that you guys can call other plays here in this exact same defense. So let's go ahead now and run maybe a little bit of a cover 6 defense. Again, we're still going to crash our defensive line towards the load side. We're still going to step towards that guard, and when the ball snapped, we're going to run at the center. If you do this, this is going to make it very easy for that pressure to come in free at the quarterback. Keep in the back of your mind, if you choose a match play, you need to learn your match rules because you'll have busted coverage if you don't do your job with your user after you get the attention of the center. But just to kind of show proof of concept for some other plays, let's go with a little bit of a cover 3 defense here, and we'll go with a different formation here. Let's run a more spread out version of a trips. So again, here, we're overloading that left side. We're just going to crash to the left, kind of hover over this guard. Ball snap, take a step towards the center, and let this pressure come in free. In this example, we're playing zone, so we have the freedom to kind of shade our coverage down and just, you know, be able to take away those quick checkdowns. After all, we're getting pretty decent pressure with this play. So again, just simple. You notice how every single time we get this pressure and free off the edge, you could run this out of the 2-4 or the regular load mug. Now, one of the downsides to this formation, admittedly, is that there are no shells. So basically, if you want to disguise a coverage as something else, you will have to call that play and then basically adjust everybody in the coverage to just kind of make it look like something else. So again, if I like to call a Tampa 2, for instance, and I want to show my defense as that cover 2, but then I want it to roll into a cover 4, I'm gonna have to go to the links to actually adjust everybody. So you're gonna want to get pretty proficient at adjusting your players into different assignments, because you'll basically be telegraphing your call. A lot of players will just run 2-man under out of this, to be honest with you, just because it's pretty easy to keep everybody manned up. A lot of people struggle with man-to-man coverage in general. Now, I know what you guys are saying. How do you counter this? Well, I'm going to tell you, but first, make sure you guys open up a tab and check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. If you like this video right here on the channel, again, make sure you're subscribed. It's absolutely free, but you're sure to love the content over on Gridiron Game Plans. I have over 60 videos already out in July alone. Today is August 1st, but in July, we dropped over 60 videos in our vault. We have 5 installs on the website in our game plan section for you to take a look at offenses and defenses. If you guys don't have a scheme yet at this point in the season, I've got you guys covered. Make sure you guys go check it out. You guys can bundle your Madden pre-sale membership with your college football membership. So make sure you guys take advantage of that deal as well while time allows. So how do we block this? Well, first and foremost, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have a dedicated protection and an untarget on the user. If you do this successfully, this will make it much harder for the offensive line to give up that edge rusher. Also, in this particular case, because we could block this with 5 out, this means that now we can send the running back out on routes. So one of the things that I would actually encourage from a defensive point of view is, if they're not trying to block it this way, you could actually drop this linebacker that is on the edge on the right side into zone. You can put them in a purple. A lot of players will do that. If they're playing man, they'll just put man with purples. And then you can kind of still do this hover trick over the guard and then just swoop at that center to get that free runner off the edge. And you're going to see that that's going to be man with an extra zone, just kind of muddying things up on that trip side of the formation. Well, if I'm an offensive player facing this, again, I'm going to slide to the overload side and I'm going to untarget the user. So that way the offensive line says, okay, we're not going to let this guy influence the way that we're doing our protection. So now in this situation, this is going to make it where I can't occupy that center. And now this pressure is coming in, or now the pressure rather is picked up, and I'm able to dump it off pretty easily. One thing that I do want to make you aware of is that if your opponent is actually untargeting you as a user, this can sometimes mean that they will be able to run straight through the middle and sack you. So if you guys run this defense and you notice that the offensive line is always sliding out to that side, just kind of be aware that they're probably untargeting you and that this is an open thing just to keep them honest. Mixing this in once in a while is enough to just kind of give your opponent that oh crap moment, and then they'll have to think differently about maybe leaving a running back in to protect, which can then open up other, max coverage type things where, now they only have 4 routes on the field and you can cover with just a 3-man rush and 8 in coverage. So, consider that mix in every once in a while if they're picking up this base rush, but this is a really solid 4-man rush that you can actually rush 3. And if they aren't going to the lengths to actually do their slide protection and untarget you, then you'll be able to pick up several sacks a game off of this. So make sure you guys check it out. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I will be back tomorrow with another upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.